Bliss to you all! The day has come once again, and the Goon Squad is here en masse. There's a board of bastards behind me. Don't worry about that, because if you've missed 2 Point Museum, you are missing an adventure to be sure, my friends. An adventure to be sure that's come with now custom soundtracks, an LP that might drop in the future, and generally just the biggest goon fish you've ever seen. The kids enjoy it, though. We've done incest, eugenics, yeah, a lot of cruelty, but all in service of the greater good is what I would say. The service of the greater good. Well worth it, well worth it. Recommend if you've not played any of the 2 Point games. Well worth it. It is phenomenally good. Phenomenally good. But that's not why you're here right now. We're kicking off because it's drama time. And last week we had one of the most intense stories we've had in a long time. The journey into the seedy underbelly of FF14's cartels on the hunts. Which seemingly didn't cause any repercussions. Thankfully, was a little wary after last week's story that we might be seeing some angry emails coming in, or we want to rectify the story and all that kind of stuff. But that's okay. That's okay. We do have a bit of old school RuneScape starting to pop up in drama time. Not surprising, given the current streamer envoy that has been sent over to OSRS in order to take a little peeky peek as to what's going on there and have some fun before, of course, all the other shenanigans kick off. And, of course, I've got a little video going on the TDP about the live letter from FF14. If you don't have 4.5 hours to sit through Yoshi P's tale telling that he did yesterday, it was an all-day affair that turned into degeneracy, at least over on my stream. So let's get started here, because I promised this last week. I brought it up. Teaching Mike about ERP. Thanks. Comes in the wake of the UK seemingly trying to ban porn. Seemingly. Good luck with that one. There is an anti-goon sentiment coming from the government. Interesting. Keir Starmer wants you to keep it out of your pants. I don't know what this is about. I think this might be about trying to specify the rules regarding gooning. We'll go with the word of the day. And so we'll see how this goes. All right, we are going to be heading over to World of Warcraft. Not overly... I wonder what the ERP scene will be like once housing arrives. It's already bad enough that we have Goldshire in. But once customized, specified, detailed, locales arrive in Azeroth, I have to wonder. But we are planning, at least for now, a New Year's Eve neighborhood party in World of Warcraft. So we'll be trying to tempt some of the known DJs over to Azeroth for maybe a one-night only situation. See what we can get set up there once housing actually arrives. Try and bring the joy that we have found over in 14 over to Blizzard and see what they think of it, or see if we can break anything. Which may or may not occur. I don't know. We'll have to see when housing actually arrives of what limitations and rules we have and see what the crazy house designers come up with there. We'll see. We'll see. It should be a bit of a blast. All right, let's get started here, friends. Hello, 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 dear Mikey, and of course your wonderful chat. I have my gavel at the ready in case you try and spoil what my impression of ERP is, good sir. Mikey, I was listening to the poor young lady that wrote to you back a bit ago about having discovered ERP in WoW, and more specifically on Moonguard. I don't remember the tale specifically. There have been a few ERP stories. I'm not sure. Oh, Joel remembers. I don't remember it offhand. So I figured I would try to write in with something as chaste as I could, while still unraveling some of the confusion and maybe misconceptions and questions without going into what I would think is too much insufferable detail of the sordid affair. I wouldn't be too worried about that. We had a Vor adventure not too long ago, and we made it through that with stalwart hearts and steeled minds. There is very little that the Goon army here can't withstand. Chests out ablaze. And
any Goon cocoons?
no cocoons required, I don't think. All right, Mikey, let me let you down on my experience. I've been in the RP community of World of Warcraft now for 15 years. Holy shit, your poor cock. 15 years. That's a lot, dude. That is raw. That's going to require a cream. Yeah, 15 years of dedication. I began my journey, of course, I'm Team USA. Okay, we have no states here on Emerald Dream, but at some point, the temptations were there, and I had to head over to Moonguard, because apparently that's where the action was. But what I am about to explain to you all, I can say with absolute confidence, given my XP, applies to all of the servers. So, as your young lady pointed out, you need to be running TRP. TRP. Remind me, someone. What's TRP? Is TRP where you write your backstory in? Is that the add-on where you fill in your character's backstory? Is that what that is? TRP? That's the RP add-on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like you write down, I was born in the Devil's Queef or whatever. Okay. Roleplay servers are literally entirely different creatures with the TRP add-on. And it's fundamental to understand what is happening around you. As you can probably imagine, while some people do RP in open, the vast majority of the best RP is occurring in whispers or in party chat, be it ERP or even major group events. Actual roleplaying S and yell and emotes are actually not as common as one might think. This is also a sign of noobishness. What are you doing? Role-playing in /say? Peasant. Most of it, though, is due to the limitations in range and not wanting to bring others into your RP event, like guild events, etc. TRP allows people to construct their profiles, and in these profiles, they can construct their descriptions, last names, and so on and so forth. But we all know no one here is interested in roleplay, chasing across the tundra in order to battle some big monsters. Your audience, okay, judgy, want to know more about ERP. I don't know if that's true. I think that's judgmental. I do not run a community of gooners. That's not true. This week is an anomaly, is what I would say. This week is an anomaly. That's what I'd say. This week is an anomaly. You all want to know what the real ERP scene looks like. The one that the RP servers don't like being talked about. Oh, no. Are we going black market here? What do you mean? Underground? This could get dark. I'm talking about the ERP scene that TRP, the add-on makers, had to negotiate with Blizzard to add extra API functionality to report profiles with. I don't like that. That's a red flag, right? That's like a siren more than anything. I want to be clear, Mikey. There are great many genuine roleplay events across Moonguard, Wormcrest Accord, and Argent Dawn over in the EU. And the private server where WoW's own devs definitely don't take part in the events and get ideas from. Okay, there's a name mentioned here, and I'm not going to mention it. I think it would be a disservice not to talk about the large scale campaigns that are organized, or annual events like the Argent Tournament that serves as the reason we no longer have phasing on server shards that aren't part of the active content. So that people didn't have to form raid groups just to make sure we could all see each other. But that's not what your audience craves. Now, some of them know exactly what I'm about to talk about. Ooh, do they? I'm kind of interested. Any guesses? There's guesses as to who our author might be. That's interesting. There's guesses as to who the author might be. Okay, is this somewhat of a legend, perhaps? You think it's about gooning Jack? Okay. And to those people who know, I will say, the stories I tell here are not intended to try and put a bright light on any single member of the community, simply to explain a lot of the mystery that keeps things like this shrouded. I'm a little scared of what this is going to be. Mike, let us begin. Firstly, there are two primary spots on any given roleplay server that if you are looking for, let's say, internet floozies, you will definitely find one. Alliance side, as you all know, is Goldshire Inn. Obviously, far more so on the Alliance-dominated Moonguard. And as I'm made to understand it, the same happens on Argent... Ooh, Argent Dawn EU. I did not think there was a Horde equivalent. Which is probably quite naive of me. Does anybody know what the Horde equivalent of Goldshire Inn is? I assumed everybody just made an Alliance character because you could get straight to Goldshire Inn. Okay, you all know the answer. Interesting. Huh. For our audio listeners, there is only one answer that is being spammed in my chat right now, and it is the correct one. For the Horde... it is the Wayfarer's Rest in Silvermoon City. Is that where there's the, like, dancing tables in Silvermoon? I think me and Andy shot something in there a long time ago for a video. Not a porn thing, but there was, like, tables and stuff in there. It was the only bar I think we could find in Silvermoon. Am I thinking of the right place? It's like, it looks like a hookah bar. If I was to describe it to anybody, it looks like a hookah bar. Is that the way? Am I thinking of the right place? Hopefully nothing happens to Silvermoon then. That would be a shame, wouldn't it? The vast majority of your ERP content is contained to these two sections of Warcraft. And most of the time, it genuinely does not leak outside of this little area. This is where you'll find profiles that are dedicated to the ERP and will keep a kink list. Can someone get me a screenshot of somebody's kink list? I'm really curious. Or a link to their F-list account? Mike, you probably don't know. F-list is a third-party site that is run by the folks who run Bad Dragon and the Furry Buru E621. What in the fuck am I reading? Is this like some sort of password? I'm Googling it. I'll do it. I've already searched Pornhub today. Furry Buru. E621. What is that? I have been redirected to Wikifur. I think it's just a furry chat site, from what I can guess.
Would you like a small tidbit of...
Yeah, I need some Chris Law here, because I'm getting like a lot of like the history of the website being shut down, and then it was opened up, and then there was controversy over a mascot or something like that.
This bit I don't know about, but I will say this little tidbit is that they're referencing something called Bad Dragon there.
Yeah, what's Bad Dragon?
It is sex items.
Well, like dildos.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the shape of animals ones.
Oh. Ew.
Is the best way I can put it.
That's gross.
The internet's a scary place, mate.
Why would you want that? Whatever. Let's close this website. Ew. Somebody made the mold. Oh, no. Ew. Oh, God. Someone made the mold. Guilty. Now, Mike, this is functionally a hyper-glorified IRC chat room with profiles. As you might have guessed it, a lot of fetishes. Yeah, it does appear to be that way. Most of the folks who will hit you up openly in whispers are going to have a TRP profile that's got some kind of list or mentions that they're looking, etc. And as someone who's partaken a variety of such things in those spots, I'll be honest, you sort of have to have standards about those you let RP with you. I mean, that makes sense to me. But is that in terms of, like, I'm not into that kink, so I'm not going to match? Do you know what I mean? Is that what we're saying? Or is it about quality of ERP, right? Are you Shakespearean, or are you like Vince Russo, right? Check DMs, you will understand. Have you sent me something? Oh my God, this is like an educational experience. Warning, this page is bad. Okay. Okay. It's really artistic. Oh, there's stories and things. Oh, I can't share this with you. I'm a half Minotaur, half Draenei who has the real problem of attempting to pass off as a wife. Huh. Huh. I mean, that's not a common occurrence, I assume. A lot of custom art going on here. Interesting. Okay. All right. Educational. I don't think we need to know. I mean, I'm learning. We're all learning. We're working together. Okay, let's keep going forward. This is sort of standards. I believe our young lady mentioned an hour and a half of hours. Oh, it was the girl who wanted to know about ERP and got drawn in. Yes, and she blamed me for it. That's right. That's what the story was. She blamed me to go and research ERP and ended up flicking the jelly bean. Yeah. I got the blame for that, and you can fuck that right off. That is nothing to do with me. I'll be honest with you, Mikey. That's honestly a short side of time to spend with someone in my experience. In my dealings, you've got two role players who are reasonably proficient at typing and can get out multiple paragraphs without taking 30 minutes. That's a lot of reading. You can easily see ERP sessions that last 3 to 4 hours. How much time have you got? On which fetishes you want to explore, in general how tired they are. Because let's be frank, after 3 to 4 hours, I don't care who you are, you're going to want to have a little break. Or maybe take a nap. It's a whole thing. All right. It probably doesn't help that like 80% of the time I have run into these situations, you usually end up finishing around 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. Are you telling me that you're going to work without having slept because you stayed up all night gooning away? It's so much easier just to jerk off and go to sleep. Right? It's so much easier. Like, this is so much effort. It's crazy. It's just I mean, each to their own, I get it, but this is a ludicrous amount of effort just to get off. Like, it's absolutely wacky. It's so much effort. It's so inefficient. I'm like, dude, this is fucking way too much work, bro. 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's art. You wouldn't understand. I guess not. I guess I don't understand. 4 a.m. till 9 a.m. I've not fallen asleep because everyone has the time for this sort of thing is a night owl. Honestly, as I've gotten older, I've had to admit to myself, I just can't commit to these kind of ERP sessions anymore. Do you treat ERP like mythic raiding? That's quality. That is quality. Like, bro, back in the day, I could farm all the M+, hit the raid, kick some ass, be just right on fire. But these days, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. I used to level overnight, bro. Expansion launch, I was 24 hours straight. No worries. No way. Goon progression. We're doing goon progression. We wiped at 5 a.m. It was rough. 5 a.m. wipe. And because I'm now older, I actually have things to do in the morning. But, and this is where a lot of folks will sort of casually blush and pretend it just stays in Goldshire. And Mike, it absolutely does not. There are obvious locations in Wonders off 2. Obvious locations. The 2 wander off 2, I assume is what it's saying. I think F-List's own WoW chat room is perhaps one of its bigger ones, but it's not like it doesn't exist within the greater RP community. And it's sort of a darker side that most folks go out of their way to try and suppress, for better or worse. I assume these are the extremists, because in every community there's extremists. I know many a person, Mike, who have been kicked from their guild because they got caught. Someone found out about their ERP. They would get spotted flying off to some weird location out in Azeroth like old Gilneas and be busted. Many guilds have serious policies about letting their guild tag be seen in Goldshire. Don't you make alts? Wait, you're doing this on your main? I am so innocent to this. Why aren't you doing this on an alt? You're rocking up on your fucking... It's like fucking Mirez rocking up to Goldshire Inn and laying the justice down on every lady in there. You kind of stand out, right? Not to say Mirez would ever do that. But he probably wouldn't rock up on one of his characters with the name Mirez and Echo above it, right? That's probably not going to happen. Probably not. Many guilds will kick you for being there with the guild tag because of the reputation. Even the more lenient of guilds have some pretty strict policies about keeping ERP to whispers or party only so that non-consenting parties are inadvertently dragged into these conversations that they do not want to be a part of. That makes sense. Now, obviously, not everyone has the social graces, not just to type in /EM what horrific form of vor they're getting off to in that moment. But if they have any even reasonable standing on the server, they will have some strict rules in place about interacting with ERP in any manner that is obvious to outsiders. Even sitting in one spot and just having a conversation in party off the beaten path can cause suspicions about what you might be doing. I think for anybody who's a little lost here, because I was for a second, is it the case that on the RP servers, your Arch and Dawns and etc., Moonguards, etc., the raid guilds that do exist there have to have this special set of rules that only apply for that server because of what that server's known for? Because, I mean, I've been in many, many guilds over the years, as you can imagine, and never once has anybody ever tried to mention anything like this to me in the history of ever. Not even raiding guilds, but also the normal roleplay guilds. Yeah. ERP leads you astray. It's the goon police. Is this a fun detected kind of scenario? Like, bro, I'm just having fun. Taliesin is an Argendon. That makes sense. That fits, actually. Welsh. Yeah. Yeah. That actually, that jigsaw piece slots in real nice. Real nice. That is a corner piece at best. 100%. You too on an Argent Dawn also makes sense. Also fits. Yeah. However, with all these, let's continue. With all these restrictions in place, it is not as if this community has somehow cleaned up its act. No, I doubt it has. All the major RP events that are held, the Argent Tournament, the World's Fair Carnival, we should go to one of these. Arthur, let me know when one of these is happening. I will happily come and see what the hell is going on. I'm very curious. Because these are clean events. right? I'm assuming. These are the, like, it's not a goon fest. I believe these are the clean and organized events. Yes. Oh, hang on. I should have read the next sentence. All the major events, the Argent Tournament, the World's Fair, Carnival, etc., I assure you with 100% certainty that a lot of ERP is taking place while they're in the theme of the environment. And that quite a lot of it is by folks that, for the most part, are the normal role players but enjoy the shenanigans of the... Oh, it's like going to, like, Download Festival. And you, although at home, you're like a mild-mannered school teacher or whatever, you go to Download and suddenly your tits are out and you're on someone's shoulders and you're waving them nipples like you just don't care. I get the vibe. Yeah, it's the big event happening. You get the vibe, right? It's the big event that everybody's going to. They're all going to Carnival. They're all going to the Argent Tournament. And then suddenly inhibitions float away amongst the crowd of 20,000 or whatever. I mean, I've been to, you know, spring break woo. Yes, spring break might be more apropos for our American friends. It's spring break woo. At home, mild-mannered math students at spring break. Different story. I say this as somebody who regularly role plays a character who has to do medical work. Oh, doctor. Who has at one of these major events been asked to come help perform a bit of surgery work after a Draenei cock was too big and tore things. We need a doctor. We need a doctor. That's hilarious that they actually found someone role-playing a doctor to help out. That is fucking funny. That is really funny. These big events and guilds, in turn, of course, have discords. Oh, I wouldn't. No. Absolutely not. And those discords will have smaller discords that get a little bit more into the layers of the onion and so on and so forth. I guess all this is to say that there's a lot more ERP going on than folks would like to admit. Oh, I don't know about that. I think a lot of us suspect there's a hell of a lot going on a nightly basis. Yeah. I don't think it's a contained situation. Like if this was the T-virus, the world is dead, is what I would consider very much. I don't think Mia Jovovich can save this one. I don't. I think this is out there. Yeah. Frankly, it's still looked at in a really embarrassing light. And sure, folks are getting off to it, which is the point. However, if you ask any of the serious role players about the matter, they'll probably bring up that they don't engage in ERP at all, unless it's either one, something that aligns with their character's backstory. I love you guys. You're so funny. What do you? We'll keep it pretty tame. It's like, oh yeah, my character wouldn't do anal. No. You see, there was a trauma. I was whipped across the back, and I'm covered in scars. And my character would never expose my uncovered back to anybody. Yes, I'm sorry. As much as I'm into it, I have to pass, unfortunately. Yeah, it breaks character, right? 2, they're looking for ways to explore their character more thoroughly. Because, let's face it, roleplay for most folks is like discount IFS, internal family systems therapy. Allowing them to explore themes and ideas that they would normally not feel safe doing in an environment where they can feel controlled. Yeah, that makes sense. Doing this online totally makes sense. Anonymity. All they're saying is like things you're curious about that you can't really bring up in the real world. That's what that is there. Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. The internet is a great place to do that, is to check shit out. Now, Mike, I'm not about to spill some beans that folks don't already know. There's already Tumblrs dedicated to making sure any whisper, rumor, or allegation of wrongdoing makes it to the internet long before I could present it to Preach and the audience. It's something that in terms of partners, you should discuss with them ahead. There's so many rules. I am always, I know we've said it already, but I am always astonished at the level of effort that goes into gooning. Which is ultimately what's happening because this is all online, right? It just feels so exhausting. So exhausting. It's crazy to me. It's so much work. It's something that in terms of partners you should discuss. Some partners take no issue with ERP so long as there aren't emotional attachments. But on the other end of the spectrum, I have been party or perhaps witness to no less than at least 2 separate marriages being rocked by ERP because their partner was unaware or had grown increasingly uncomfortable with. I will put my hand up here. I would be massively uncomfortable if Emma was engaging in anything like this. Yes. And if I was doing it, which I wouldn't, I think Emma would be like, bye. What the fuck are you doing? I see it, and maybe this is wrong. I don't think it's prudish. I would see it as I am not satisfying her needs, and she's having to go elsewhere for it. That is what I would see it as. Like, you're getting this thing that's supposed to be between us from somewhere else, and I am not okay with that. Like, yeah, that's how I would look at it for sure. I mean, it's almost cheating. You're not physically touching anybody, or I get that, but like you're engaging in a very sexual act with someone else, and I am not okay with that at all. Yeah, every couple's different, but I know that that's how me and Emma would both see it that way. Yeah, I know they said it's like no emotional attachment and it's just basically jerking off, but I don't see it that way. I would never be convinced that's what's going on. Let me tell you, if Emma was like doing this and I found all these weird things that she'd been up to, all these fetish shit she was into, I'd be like, and she went, well, there's no emotional element to it. I don't think I could believe that in any circumstances. Mike, I can speak to the fact that my last partner, it was a major conversation that was had because I'll be frank, I'm an e-slut. and I went into the relationship sort of explaining that. And as somebody that is asexual, agosexual, I don't know what it is. Oh, a subsect of asexuality. In a lot of ways, ERP is one of the few ways I can explore my own sexuality. Huh. And having spent time in the e-slut community, so to speak, I can say with some reasonable confidence that the number of agosexual... I don't... all right, we'll have to Google this. I don't know what it is. Agosexual. Hold on. I don't know where question marks are coming. I don't know. Aegosexual. Maybe egosexual? I don't know. Also known as autocorosexual is a term on the asexual spectrum describing individuals who experience a disconnect between themselves and the target of their sexual arousal. They may enjoy sexual fantasies or content, but not want to be personally involved in the activity or relationship. Essentially, they experience arousal related to sex, but not in the way that involves them directly. So it's like you get off on fantasy, not reality. Is that what I'm understanding here? Like, you don't actually want to do it, but you enjoy the idea of it, so to speak. Pretty much, yeah. There's a video. We're not watching that. Yeah. Is it watching people? No, I don't think it's watching people. No, not watching. They want to take part in the fantasy, but they're creating the fantasy for somebody else. They don't actually want to engage in anything like that, but they derive satisfaction from creating a fantasy for somebody else. Because they're not, as an asexual, you're not physically attracted to people. Am I understanding? I don't know. This is all very complex for me. I am a monkey man. This is so hard for me because I am about the most generic monkey man that exists. I like just I am bog standard in my attractions. There's nothing complicated about it at all. I am straight caveman, always. Straight caveman. I like boobs. I like butt. I'm good to go. Let's get going. Rock solid. Easy. Okay. A lot of the people in the e-slut community are this, I think it's ego or agosexual, who inhabit the community is a huge ratio of the public percentage-wise. That makes sense. I could say, at least with myself, and most of the folks I know, comments like, I'm dripping, would be off-putting. because a fair number of us can't relate. So I'm assuming you're female based on that comment. You've never been aroused. So what are you doing this for then? Just for like the story of it? Like Tolkien? Huh. Yeah, this is all very complicated for me. I'm not putting it down because I don't understand it. It's, even with it being explained to me. Mind-nutting. That's a phrase. For the love of the game. I'm doing it for the love of the game. Just for the love of the sport. Just for the love of the sport. Yeah, that would be off-putting because a fair portion of us don't actually know what's going on. That sucks. Being aroused is kind of fun. Like, it's not that we're not aware. It's just one of those like introducing actual IRL elements makes it unenjoyable for us. Okay, let me try and fucking process what I'm understanding here. You write incredibly, I imagine, filthy sexual fiction to people. But the idea that the other person is actually aroused by it is off-putting. Is that what I'm getting out of this? Because that feels like sticking needles into a balloon factory and being annoying that they popped. Huh. Yeah, it's all very complex. Anyway, moving on. They just don't like the IRL details, but they want to have fun and being aroused is your guess. You know, if we've lost Presea, this is a real degen hole. I feel like if Presea's confused... Anyway, let's see where we go. We're trying, I will say this, we're genuinely trying to understand it, but I imagine most of us here are kind of in a similar sort of like, oh, cool, butts. And yeah, it's pretty simple for a lot of us. So it's a little difficult to understand. Yeah. So for those of you out there seeking the ERPs, as a few sort of red flags, okay, here's the tips. Avoid anyone who can't type more than a single sentence for their roleplay. I mean, yeah, that's just annoying. 9 times out of 10, not only are they a terrible writer and a disappointing elay, more than that, they usually have attachment issues and are the quickest to latch onto you or your character as some kind of IRL emotional bridge. Jesus Christ. You better be careful out there. You better be fucking careful, dude. You better be careful. You better get creative, motherfuckers. Otherwise, you're letting all the signs out. And I can assure you, everyone in chat who has not been tangled up in a roleplay relationship that has gone to out of character, which is the real world, or to the real people, it is a terrible fucking idea. Don't do it. Do not pass go. Do not collect the $200. The absolute worst thing you could do is start a relationship with someone based on how good they are at type fucking. Other red flags include persistent gnomes who whisper to you about stepping on them. That took a turn. This one is a pretty serious red flag. I mean, 1 made sense to me. 2 really went in a different direction. I could have predicted that one. It didn't go red, blue, yellow. It went red, atomic bomb. I've had many a soul that wanted me to go off to their garrison or somewhere out in the world. And I swear to Christ, if another feral druid starts doing a humping animation as a way to aid the scene. I'm going to personally ask the class balance person for feral druid to remove the sit animation for the entire spec. I have to describe the image in my head. It's next year, September or November or whenever it's going to happen. It's BlizzCon 2026. Midnight is out. The story is taking a massive twist. On stage, Ian Hazacostas, bright as a light, shining in the next expansion, The Last Titan, and a new feature has been announced which has driven the entire masses crazy. 40,000 people gathered to celebrate in Blizzard's image. That night, the Hilton Hotel. Ian steps out of his room and decides he's going to head down to the lobby in order to converse with some of the attendees, find out what the issues are with their most dedicated of fans who have paid the cost to get to BlizzCon. He steps out of the elevator onto the floor. He spots an older man, 40-ish, staring at him. He's seen him before, made some videos on YouTube, not happy with the kind of things that he says and chooses to avoid him. And instead of going left where he was, he darts right immediately. He's then stopped by one fresh-faced young gamer who says that he's a little unhappy that the rogue class is a little underrepresented and maybe Smoke Bomb would be a great addition. Ian acknowledges it and says maybe he'll look into it. He moves on to the next person. And then this interesting lady approaches, looks at Ian, thanks him for everything he's done over the years, and is looking forward to The Last Titan. Then mentions they're a role player. And Ian says, so you're happy with how the game is? To which she replies, yes, but I have one request. Can you remove the sit animation from feral druids? Because nightly, during my gooning sessions, where I'm writing some Shakespearean level filth across the internet, the feral druids keep coming and spamming the sit animation and pretending to hump my leg. And frankly, it's gone too far, Ian. Frankly, it's gone too far. Please, can you deal with this situation? And I would be ecstatic to see that happen. I would be ecstatic to be like, I would be ecstatic to see that happen. I tell you, Mike, some people apparently can't get off if their character isn't getting undressed as well, which I personally am not a fan of. But you know what they say about improv? It's yes and ERP, if nothing, is not one if not one of the most elongated improv setups ever. So you don't like it if they like actually remove their armor? That's really interesting. It seems so specific. So specific. Like, you would think that would be a part of it, is stripping down the armor, right? This person does not represent the majority. Oh, I don't think so. I think we're in the weeds here, Stream Bonker. We're in the weeds. This is very specific. Now, some of these type fucking journeys do work out. I've seen relationships born out of RP relationships between characters that didn't end in a tire fire, but is the rarity rather than a regular occurrence, like husband-wife guilds. And I think strange to even me is that there are findoms, which I know you know about, Mike. Yes, I do. I suppose now I have to explain this to the audience. Findom is financial domination. This is the sexual gratification that somebody gets from giving all their money to someone, typically a man giving all their money to a woman. And the reason I know about this is because Emma received several messages from someone begging to be their findom. Or begging her to be their findom, I guess, and just wanted to send all their money to Emma so they could be humiliated in that way. Emma politely declined. Yeah, when was this? This was what, like maybe a year ago now? We did talk about it on stream because Emma was very confused, and thankfully we had Chris on standby who was able to educate me and Bex and Emma as to what findom was and that it's actually a thing. Yes, Chris was the one who was to educate us all on this matter because we were just too innocent and had no idea of what this... Emma actually thought it was somebody asking about PreachCon tickets, which I think is super cute. And she replied saying that the tickets will be on sale for PreachCon if that's what you're asking about. In a little while. Yeah, Chris came in with like, that's not what that is. That's not what that is. Yeah, we thought he wanted a refund or something, or to buy some merch. Yeah, I think the team was very confused by the Findom request. Anyway, and I think it's strange to even me that there are Findoms that make more money, they make more than just gold in their Goldshire journey, and very real money does change hands over e-boning. Oh, that I can believe. We have real life experience of this. But yes, Mike, I do have many a horrifying story from this world. Some I could probably have Mike tell without Twitch HQ bursting into a pile of flames. Brother, we're so safe, right? They're letting all that political shit go on Twitch. We're good. We're okay over here. They've got many things to get through before they find us in our Findom stream. We're fucking square, dude. Don't worry about it. There's way worse shit going on Twitch these days. It's all good. I'm considered wholesome. Respectfully. All right? You'll bow down before me. I'm not a brand risk. Anyway. But I know in general that most folks don't really want to dive into the rabbit hole. No, and I don't really want the show to be that anyway. But if anyone is interested in the shenanigans I've seen over the years, I'm happy to provide them. I just wanted to try and clear up some of the misconceptions and mysteries that exist within this world. As like any form of sex work, I think it's advantageous in this day and age to make it clear what's really going on and try and wrap it up in a puritanical bubble. Well, there it is. There it is. A hell of a story. Educational, as always. Educational. Thank you for the links to the F-list documentation, which exists. But I think we're good. I think we're good for now. Shall we go to old school RuneScapes? Thank you for getting in touch, though. More knowledge is better. Knowledge is power. Now, I have never played RuneScape. And I don't have much of a desire to do so. At least for now. We've talked about it a couple of times, but considering it's sort of like popping off right now, but we're doing way more important things with goon balloons, we're going to stay there. But, so I'll need the chat, who is probably a bit more au fait with me. Oh yeah, we'll go with Eladel here, as it's one of our viewer names. And the title is... Okay. This also doesn't make sense to me. The 18-year black bead? Before we even get started, it's the 18-year black bead. Does this already make some sort of sense to somebody? Because I don't know what this means. I thought it was Black Beard, but the title is Black Bead. Black Bead. Okay, so for some people this makes sense. All right, cool. Let's get started. Hello, Preach, Bex, Chris, the family, and of course the elitist jerks that are chat. I know you like to guess where people are from, so I'm going to give you these clues. We are from the UK. Oh, this is easy. This is easy. Paku will know this place very well. I hail from a city famous for the Vikings. My throat's going. The Vikings, a minister, and probably the most important thing ever, You've already got it already. Okay, it's interesting how many foreigners know it. You're all over it. The Yorkshire pudding. The Yorkshire pudding wrap, which I have never had. I have never had a Yorkshire pudding wrap. I've had plenty of Yorkshire puddings, but I've never had the regulation Yorkshire pudding wrap. Of course, it is York. As a Yorkshireman, I know it well. I know York very well, but I wouldn't get a Yorkshire pudding wrap. I've walked past them many times. I made the ever-loving mistake of leaving York for a place known only for its degeneracy and tyranny. I now live in the Toon. The Black and White Army, which I know every British person knows where this is. Oof. Oof. Immediately, oof. Oh, no. Actually, last time I was in Newcastle, it was beautiful. They've done a lot of work there. Newcastle is actually quite pretty now. Mikey, I've been watching your streams of Drama Times pretty religiously. I even came to PreachCon in 2017. Fun fact, I could see myself in the PreachCon 2017 video. Well, you should do. We try and get everybody in there. We do our best. But life gets in the way, and I found myself busy with work and other life shit. I recently came back in 2025. When the fuck did you get hair? You were a fat, bald Mancunian the last time I saw you. I mean, I can tell you are a regular viewer of the channel, though. I appreciate that. It does fit. Yeah, this does fit as somebody who has been to PreachCon. This feels very accurate to somebody who has met me in real life. And I thought I would share this little tale of mine. I, of course, am not hailing from World of Warcraft in this story, but from RuneScape. I want to tell you about this. I'm not part of the elites. It was around 11 years old when this happened, gaming mainly on my PS2, playing Hogs of War, Canis Canum Edit. What the fuck is Canis Canum Edit? What is that? Bully. Ah. And games like that. On one faithful day, a new family moved into our little council estate in Yorkshire. Crisp. And I met the antagonist of this story, Eladel. Eladel came with tales of a different kind of game that I had played. He said it was open world, whatever that meant. Multiplayer, but on a larger scale than I'd ever seen. An MMO. Massively multiplayer. He told me stories of his high-level character, Dragon Slayer, that was trapped in the wild with loads of loot on him that he had sought out. I later found out he was a lying piece of shit, and that there was no Dragon Slayer, but that's not my tale for today. Ah, young kids making up stories. I love it. Me and Eladel made fresh characters, leveled through Tutorial Island, and I fell in love. It was like nothing I had ever seen. What will the next game be that's going to be like this? I can't wait for whatever it's going to be, but it is coming. We are due a revolution in gaming. GTA 6? Get to fuck. You know what GTA 6 is now. Ashes of Creation? Nah. I mean a game that's like... I kind of feel it's either got to be VR or augmented reality or something. Like something like Ready Player One style. Like something that's like, I have never experienced a game like this before. Every game that's come out in the last kind of decade has been like a twist on something that already exists. Like we're looking for that, like, bro, there's nothing like this. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. VR is sick, but it's really held back. It's getting better. It's getting better. Well, the next, whatever the next game-changing game is, I'm just hoping it happens before I'm like fucking 60 years old. I'm like, back in my day, we used a mouse and keyboard, and we had to fill the bar. Where's me bar? I like filling me bar up. It's nice. The graphics were amazing. The map was so big that I couldn't believe that this was a real thing. One fateful day, I made my way from Lumbridge to the Wizard's Tower and picked up a quest called Imp Catcher. For anyone who knows this quest back in 07, it was a fucking nightmare. You had to collect 4 different coloured beads from imps. Okay. Is this like raptor horns? Is that what I'm thinking here? This is the hornless raptors of Arathi. Well, that sounds like an easy quest, I thought to myself. Especially for a noob like me. The little imps would teleport randomly as you were killing them. And the bead drops were not guaranteed. I was spending ages on this quest. I had 3 of the 4 beads. And just needed 1 more, the black bead. Luckily for me, my best mate Eladel sent me a DM saying that he had the black bead. Thank God. Finally my hunt was over, I told him. I have to log off in 15 minutes for dinner, but I'll be back to get the black bead. Let me tell you, preach, sausage and mash has never been eaten quicker. Oh, that's a Yorkshire lad. Bangers and mash. Sausage and mash has never been eaten quicker before. I ate that meal like my life depended on it. I hope it had some onion gravy. I finally logged back on and tell Edadel to meet me in Varrock and trade me the sought-after black bead. Now, bear in mind, this was 2007. So the grand exchange was not in the game yet. So trading with players directly was the only way to get items off from mob drops. So he sends me a trade. I accept. And do I see the black bead in my window? I do not. Instead, I see 1,000 gold. Is that a lot in RuneScape? I have no context for if this is a lot or a little. Is this a copper? No. This is not a lot of money in RuneScape. Okay. What the fuck? I ask. Where's the bead? He then says, while I was eating dinner, he found an idiot that was buying the bead for 1,000 gold, and that he knew that that bead was only worth 500 gold. So that I've done him a solid. I can now go and buy the black bead for 500 gold and have 500 gold profit. My heart sank. He knew I'd been farming this bead for at least 3 hours, which might not sound like a lot, but I was a kid. That felt like forever. And he had gone and sold it. Of course, I took the gold because gold is gold. And if you're wondering, Mike, if 1,000 gold is a lot, no. The gold cap is 2 billion. Okay. 1k gold is fucking nothing. But I took it anyway and logged off. Mike, I didn't speak to Eladel for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I did not speak to my best friend because of his betrayal of the black bead. Kids are stubborn fucks, man. Kids are stubborn fucks, man. Kids are stubborn little fuckers. The amount of times, like, not talk to him anymore. Not only that, but I refused to go back and do the quest. I didn't complete it until late 2007 when the Grand Exchange was added to the game. That is the only way I even wanted to be involved with that quest. But the story doesn't end there, because now the year is 2025. I am now a man. I am now getting married. Congratulations. And Eladel is my best man. And during his best man speech, he spoke about our gaming days. And in that fucking speech, Mike, he brought up the black bead. About how he was once trying to do his best friend a favor and give him money in a video game. That son of a bitch, in front of all my family and friends, proceeds to pull a black bead out of his pocket 18 years later and hand it to me. He then asked on the microphone if I could finally forgive him for selling the black bead 18 years ago. That is fucking banter. That is top level banter. I love that. Of course, in the moment, I looked him square in the eyes and said, absolutely not. And I told the audience that it took me months to finish that quest, you bastard. I do want to let people know, though, that Eladel has been battling cancer at this point for the better part of a year. And a month after the wedding, he passed away. Oh, man. But you've always got the black bead, right? I was there with him at the end, and I, of course, will cherish that black bead for the rest of time. Yeah, look after it. Get it framed or something like that. So it's in like I imagine a bead is quite small, so I would get that put in like a little glass box or something like that. Some sort of display case so you can't, like, lose it in a pocket, so to speak. Something like that. I'm sorry for your loss, though. Losing friends is, yeah, that hits different, man. Especially someone you grew up with. It's like losing a brother. Sucks, man. I have other stories of us scamming people in RuneScape as we grew, saying we would trim armor, and of Eladel pretending to be a woman in World of Warcraft for free stuff. But this story of my best friend in the Black Bead is my favorite story. Eladel, I don't know if you can hear this, but you were my best mate. But I still, even in the afterlife, do not forgive you for selling that black bead. I have no doubt wherever you are still a cunt. The end. Quite a different contrast. That's what you want in the afterlife. I know what they'll say about me after I'm gone. What a guy. What a guy. Or maybe they'll stand quietly at my wake and you'll all bow heads and a stirring rendition of Goon Cocoon will play politely over the speakers in celebration. Indeed, we send the salute, my friends. We send the salute. What a dork. Ladies and gents, it is time for me to bid you adieu for the weekend. We are here tomorrow, but we're doing technical shit and boring shit that's not worth streaming. But other than that, on Monday, the Goon Balloon will fly once more, my friends. It will fly once more. So I'll take my leave of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. If I get time on Sunday, I'll do a stream, but probably not. I'm probably going to have a day off. So, yeah, it is what it is. Salut, my friends, and goodbye. Bye, everybody.